Hello, my name is Ilona, and in this video about Shadowwork, I want to talk about soul agreements. So when you come to this earth as a soul, you have like agreements you want to happen, your soul plan. And there's of course a lot of talk about that you die according to your soul plan, and that it's kind of people you meet, agreements you've made, certain situations that you'll meet, that it has to do with your soul plan. And I look at it a little bit differently. And I have to say, I'm still working with that. It's a work in progress, how I see things. But right now, this is how it feels to me. To me, it feels like the soul agreements are things that can happen in your life. This is the potential of your soul. So you have all this potential that can happen to heal yourself, because ultimately your soul wants to heal because it will get wisdom from the healing, from the experiences. So these are potentials, and I do believe that it's up to you what you choose to do, because we all have a free will. I don't think everything is printed in black and white and in printed, or how to say this, carved in stone, and that's the way it is. I think a lot depends on how we view things and how we deal with things. Very important to understand that we have a free will. There are people that choose not to look at their shadow work, choose not to look at themselves, to avoid that, even though deep inside they do feel that they should, but they're not doing it. Then ultimately you will choose a different path than you could have if you looked at the potential of your soul plan. So you could have had another life. I see it as like the choices we make depend, which timeline we will end up with. And that will also say something about your soul plan. If you decide to just make, you don't want to deal with things, ultimately you will, I think, die maybe even sooner, or just accordingly to your energy. So ultimately your frequency decides which part of the soul plan will be coming true, or will be, part of your life. So it's possible that if you've made agreements with people that you're going to meet them, but you need, before that, there are other lessons you have to learn before you can finally meet this person, or this, you've made an agreement, but you don't, choose the lessons before that. You choose to take a different path. You choose to avoid to truly deal with yourself and deal with your pain and your fears and things like that. It's likely you're not going to connect with these people. Maybe you'll meet them, but there won't be anything to connect with, because you still have to work through a lot of things. It's possible you can meet them later on in life when you have worked through it. But if you still decide not to work through it, if you still remain stuck in all kinds of ways, then that's not going to happen. So to me, it is possible that you're not going to fully live up to, in a way, your soul plan, because of the choices that you make. And I think that's very important to realize, because we have a say in that. And not everything is, like I've mentioned, set in stone. It's like we still have a lot of influence in how we deal with life. I've seen it in my own environment. Certain people that got so negative, got so stuck in their way of thinking, and weren't open to other people's influences. And of course, people will say, well, that's part of their soul plan. Is it though? Because I believe the soul plan is the potential of the soul. And I could truly see these people as wonderful people, but they closed themselves off completely because they weren't dealing with pain. They weren't dealing with their anger, their frustrations. And it really led them to a very negative place they couldn't get out of, or at least they didn't want to get out of. They remained in that victimhood. It's also possible that they would lash out and they become very toxic people. It's all choices ultimately that they make. And I do understand what are the choices if people just don't see it. That has to do with, I know for certain that's of course a bit difficult to say, but certain people do know better. It's like you feel that they do understand at a certain level, but they don't want to do the work that comes along with it. And I fully understand that. I've been working for quite some time, with my own shadow, and it is tough. It is not easy to look at that and truly be honest with yourself. So I do understand people shying away from that. But the problem is that they will remain stuck and they can't, as I see it, truly fulfill the potential of their soul because they limited themselves. And that is ultimately, even on an unconscious level, a choice they make. And it will affect when they'll most likely will leave the earth plane. Because the more negative, that will get stuck in your body and that will lead to all kinds of diseases happening because that is connected to your energy. So I do think that it's very important that we realize that we are souls, we are spiritual beings. We come to this life to really fulfill our highest purpose and really to learn and heal everything we still carry around with us. And I've already mentioned before with past lifetimes that I do believe that the dark energies taken over quite a lot of that, and they were the ones that were erasing our memories. I do believe that that's been changed now, it's been altered now. But there are some people that are like, well, I think it's a good idea that you get a new life and you don't carry, those memories with you. That's true. You don't carry those memories with you and you can start new, but you still carry the baggage from those other lifetimes with you. And you have no idea where it's coming from. Which means that you really haven't learned anything from your experiences in other lifetimes. But you do carry the things maybe you didn't look at, pain, anger, fear. You do carry that with you, which means that it's very tough to get out of it because everything is wiped. You don't understand where it's coming from. Then you don't understand how to truly respond to it. And it's very likely that you're going to respond in the same way you've done in a past life, which means you'll be stuck and you'll be repeating the same mistake over and over again. Now, if they wiped our memories and completely wiped us as souls, so we wouldn't carry that baggage from other lifetimes and then I guess you could say it's a good thing because you really are starting completely new, but that's not really the case, at least when I look at myself. And the insights I've got from past lifetimes, that I'm like, I've done a regression therapy and I just sometimes have flashes that are like, this is from another timeline or another lifetime, that you do carry that with you. You do carry that with you as a soul because you are not a human being or just a human being having one life. You are an eternal soul experiencing things in a human body. That's completely different. So they wiped out the memories of past lifetimes, but they cannot wipe out our energy of the soul. So that's what you'll take with you. So I do believe, and I hope that that's completely changed now. And that's the feeling I get, that has been altered, which means that we will be able to retain our consciousness if we do decide to go to another level or to leave this earth plane. That will of course be a completely different ball game then, because there are aliens that have memories of their past lifetimes and they can build up on that. They have this enormous wealth of wisdom they can tap into, and that will of course help them grow much faster than if you have to start over all the time. It's really not leading to anything. It was a perfect way to control us and to keep us confused, because if you come back and you don't understand what's going on and you have all these baggage from other lifetimes, you don't really understand, why do I feel this way? And you can very easily get caught up in that. So I wanted to mention that. That's how I see soul agreements or your soul plan. I believe you have a lot of influences and it depends on your choices. And if you choose to follow a certain path, if you choose to deal with your shadow side, then obviously you will meet other people and you will meet people that are more connected with you than if you choose not to do anything about it and just live your life and avoid anything with emotions, with feelings, or dealing with things. If you avoid confrontations, then of course that will have an effect on your soul plan. It will have an effect on your life, because then you always, how do you say this, keep yourself to yourself. You're not going to confront anyone. That will have an effect on you. That will have an effect on your energy. And that, of course, if there's a negative impulse on your energy, that will affect your body and, of course, what's going on with your life and with your health. So it's very important, I think, that we truly understand, especially now, we are in the Great Awakening. This is about taking responsibility, looking at ourselves, embracing ourselves. It's very important that we now fully understand that it is up to our free will. It's up to our choices that we make. And it's not easy. Working with your shadow, especially what I've been doing for quite some time now. Some people have been working for a very long time with these parts. That it's not easy. It's not something I really enjoy doing. That is later on, of course, when I feel stronger, because I notice there's more stability. But I've also noticed, and that's something I want to mention as well, that lately a lot of things are coming up. We are now facing things inside of ourselves that we really pushed far, far away. And I've noticed that I am really isolating myself lately. I've noticed I just want to remain in my cocoon. I just want to really be with myself, because it's about healing ourselves. And something really popped up that I really didn't realize. When I was growing up, I really didn't want to be here. But I really truly felt that I really don't want to be here. So that's something I'm now dealing with, because I kind of pushed that aside. Of course, I want to be here. I know I've made this decision because this will be my opportunity to grow. But it doesn't mean that there's a part of me that is like, yeah, I don't want to be here. Just get me out of here. And that's something I need to deal with. That's something I need to now, embrace and work my way through. It's not easy, but I've noticed that I can deal with the darker stuff, but the part that I not want to be here has to do with I don't truly trust life. And I don't truly trust myself, because that's ultimately what it is. If you don't trust life, you don't trust yourself. You don't maybe trust God in a way. It has to do with being unsafe. Most likely I've had many lifetimes feeling very unsafe and things happening to me. I've also lived lifetimes on the other side. That means the darker side, because we have lifetimes in both sides. Don't think that you're just from the good side. It's now about balancing everything. Balancing the white, the black, the good, the bad. Balancing it so we can truly step into our powers. So to me, I always have this distrust towards life, I guess. So instead of like this death fear, I have a fear of life. Just enjoying life. Just meeting and connecting with people, which ultimately means that I have some issues with connecting with myself still. I'm working on it. It's, like I said, a work in progress. But it's difficult because it's so painful, especially to feel like you really don't want to be here. There's this frustration and anger kind of attached to that as well. I'm working through that, but it's interesting because there are more people that can handle the darker side or the tougher side, but have an issue with handling the lighter side of life, enjoying life, truly feeling that everything is going to be all right and that you're safe. That's why it's very important for me also to connect with myself, to connect with God, and to fully realize, like I've mentioned many times before, it's something I know, but there are still parts that I need to embrace from other lifetimes of things I still carry with me that may feel that connection as well, that, We are all safe. We are all God's children, and therefore we are all safe. But it's very interesting to see that apparently I still have some fear to truly enjoy life. Although I am getting excited, just that working through this will give me the opportunity to fully open myself up. If I am really connected with myself, because this is about healing my connection with God, my connection with the universe and with life and myself. And if I can really open myself fully for that, then I can open myself fully for life and truly enjoy life and start manifesting what I truly want. And I do believe if we step into our powers, we won't need soul contracts and soul plans anymore, not in that way as what we've used it for. If we are fully healed and healed ourselves, and that's that can take, I don't know how long, but we're working through that. But if we start to step fully into our power, we can manifest what we want, which means that we can decide which way we want and what we want to create. And I don't think we will be needing any soul plans anymore. So I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.